Okay, ma'am, my first name is George,
Mm-hmm.
and my last name is Benavides.
Benavides, is that?
B is in boy,
Mm-hmm.
E is in echo, N is in November, A is in Adam, B is in Victor, I is in India, D is in Delta, E is in Echo, S is in Sam.
Benavides.
Yes, ma'am. I am a disabled veteran.
Okay.
Disabled veteran.
Yes, sir. Now, and listen to, my first name is Beverly, and I want to apologize. We have had an extreme high volume of calls, so my apologies for just now getting back with you. Now, when I listened to your message, you mentioned something about harassment. So I'll let you explain to me what's going on there.
Well, first of all, who are you with?
This is the EPA Region 6 office located in Dallas, Texas. And my first name is Beverly. My last name is Murray. And I'm returning your phone call of December 17th.
Okay.
It's the EPA, sir.
Okay.
Region 6 office.
Okay, so if you were to go on to Google and type in Havana syndrome, you're going to come up with an enormous amount of resources. Okay? If you type in anonymous health incidents, you're going to come up with an enormous amount of resources. Okay? Now, the question I'm having here is that they're telling us that we have to report this to the police department. The fact is that the police department don't have instruments to record the amount of radiation and frequency noises that penetrate in our home, or electronic harassment is penetrating our homes. Who does that?
Okay.
Who is going to investigate that?
Okay. So you guys are being exposed to radiation?
Yes, ma'am. An enormous amount of radio frequency radiation, electronic harassment. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
And the reason why I say this is because Fox News, they use a spectrum analyzer. Okay? They use a spectrum analyzer, and what they do is they go into a quiet room where the outlets are unplugged, the refrigerator's unplugged, the microwave's unplugged, and you sit there with a spectrum analyzer, and you can see the amount of frequency that exceeds the normal hertz that a human should be exposed to. So,
okay, George, we have a regional person contact here who deals with radiation. Now, if you have pen and paper handy,
okay.
I want to put you in touch with him. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll look up his name for you. Okay.
Okay.
But he has an extensive background in radiation.
Well, I wanted to get your question. I wanted to get your answer on my question. My question is, how many cases of Havana syndrome has been reported to the EPA?
Is that radiation?
Well, it's microwave radiation. It's radio frequency, direct energy weapons.
Okay, now George will answer that question for you.
According to the Government Accountability's Office journal on patient care.
I understand, George. I understand now. The individual I'm going to put you in touch with, he's our regional contact for radiation from nuclear power plants, radiation electromagnetic, radiation cell phone towers, you name it. He is our regional person here with an extensive background of radiation and the type of radiation. He's our regional authorization coordinator here, and he covers New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And he will answer that question for you. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, his first name is George, like yours.
Okay.
George's last name is Brzezowski. It is spelled B as in boy, Rozowski. Again, Brozowski. Now, to reach George, his direct phone number is 214-665-8541. Again, 214-665-8541. Do you need his email just for reference purposes?
Sure.
Okay, and you can probably reach him quicker via email. He really prefers email because if he has information to share, he would want to do that. So here we go.
Okay.
His email address is his last name, Brzezowski, and I'll respell that for you.
Okay.
BROZOWSKI dot George, GEORGE, at EPA dot GOV as in Victor. So last name Brzezowski dot first name George at EPA.gov. Now, I want to take a step further. I'm going to check to make sure he's available. Maybe he's in the office and can speak with you, okay?
Okay, I want to ask you one question. You say you work for the EPA?
Yes, sir. My role here at the EPA, what I do, I answer all of the incoming calls to our agency from the states of New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And once I determine the nature of your call, is to put you in touch with the EPA expert here that can help. So
Okay.
I do work for the EPA, but my role is answer. I'm the only one that answers the phone calls here.
Okay.
That's
Are
what I do.
you familiar with two federal court cases? One is they just won a court case. It's called CHD versus the FCC. Are you familiar with that court case?
CHD as in David
Yes, versus FCC.
versus FCC.
Are you familiar with that court case?
I would have to look it up for you, sir.
Okay. How about Morrison versus Portland school districts?
Morrison versus school district
Portland school district.
versus Portland. Bear with me. School district.
Yes.
Okay, Morrison versus Portland school district.
No,
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you analyze those cases, I mean, this electromagnetic frequency, direct energy weapons, neurological weapons is happening, but it's happening to children and institutions as well, ma'am. So someone has that capability of ignoring the constitutional law. Not only that, ignoring the Geneva Convention law and taking it upon themselves to attack people in institutions like that. That is not right, ma'am. That's not right.
Now, okay, so George, when it comes to these legal cases, now we have a division of regional counsel. Now I can give you contact for any information regarding what we call Freedom of Information Act. That's under our legal department, and they would be familiar. Now, I'm not sure if they would, for the Morrison versus Portland School District, Portland is out of our region. Now, I can put you in touch. Now, the CHD versus FCC, what state is that out of, George?
I'm uncertain, but the case itself talks about the technology, the advanced technology abusing Americans. Okay, it gives you a wide variety of scope of how this technology is being deployed against Americans.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let me finish up making sure George is in the office. I'll look up both of these cases while I have you on the phone and give you some guidance.
Okay, and I just wanted to ask you a question. I mean, you said you answer phones.
It's okay.
And you said you answer phone.
Yeah.
You answer.
Okay.
Okay, but you answer.
I'm going to answer the latter question. I want to make sure George Brzezowski is available for you to reach out to. Then I will look up these cases while you're on the phone and answer your question. Okay?
Okay.
So let's see if George is available.
Okay.
Because when our employees are out of the office, they have somebody pitch in.
Okay.
So hold on just one moment, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm still with you, George.
I'm with you, ma'am. I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
I was going to give you more resources. There's President.
Okay, George Brzezowski is available.
Okay.
Now.
Perfect.
Okay, now let's move to these cases.
Okay.
And see if this is something you need to share with George, okay?
Okay,
Let me pull it
sure,
up. I'm
sure.
going to Google him, okay?
Sure. Okay.
All right, sir. CHD versus FCC. Let's see. All right. Now, CHD versus FCC is a case between Children's Self-Defense and the Federal Communications, or FCC, over FCC's ruling on wireless antenna placement. Now, okay, when it comes to that, let me go back here and I'm going to tell you, because this is a case over FCC's ruling on wireless antenna placement. Okay, now let's dig into the case itself. FCC's ruling over the air reception devices allowed for the quick deployment of wireless in rural neighborhood areas without permits and notifications. Okay, so what they're talking about is the towers. Okay, right? You agree?
Well, there's a lot more to that, though. I mean, that's just part of it. That's just part of it. Okay.
George.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking about cell phone towers. Is that a yes or a no?
Well, we're talking about GWIN towers, ground wave, they're called ground wave network towers. Ground wave, let's be more specific here. It is called, what do they call them? GWIN.
Okay, I have it up. Let's see, I have it up. FCC's ruling over the air reception devices allow for the quick deployment of wireless in rural and neighborhood areas without permits or notification. CHD filed a petition to review the ruling, arguing that FCC ignored research showing children are more vulnerable to wireless. Okay. The court's decision, let's see. Okay. The FCC regulates interstate and international communication through radio, television, cable, satellite, and wire. Now, George Wazowski will answer that question. Let me go back. Hold on. I'm flipping from screen to screen.
Well,
okay?
the reason why I contacted the EPA is because the aftermath of those. What frequency penetrates that barrier to expose that, to cause the illegal exposure of that radiation and frequency? Okay, someone has to regulate that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
George,
yes, ma'am.
I'm going to help you.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
Let me get back to George's qualifications because I just went through that real quickly with you.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that you can reach out to various parties. Okay. Give me one sec here. And I don't mean to be rude. I really don't.
No, I understand that, but someone's got to come and record this. Someone's got to record this.
Okay. George Wazowski deals with radiation nuclear power plants, radiation electromagnetic, which we call RAD, radiation cell phone towers. That includes wireless. George will answer that first question for you. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let me look up the other case. And, that might not be in our region, but I'll make sure. Okay, let's look that up for you. Okay? So, yes, George will be prepared to answer that first question.
Okay.
Let's see. Here we go. Morrison versus Portland School District. Okay. Morrison versus School District. Okay, let's pull that up. Let's see what they're saying. Okay, Morrison versus School District. Here's the case here. Morrison versus School District. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Butler, J.P. Butler. I'm going to fast read here real quick, okay? In the school district. Republican education, Looks like this might be, I'm trying to nail down, this might be another state, Portland.
Yeah, but it's in the federal courts, ma'am. It's the experts that testified in that court case are our experts in recording this penetration of frequencies and radiation coming through schools and homes and everything else.
Okay. Now, our region, we don't cover Portland. I'm going to put you, to answer the second question, I'm going to put you in touch with our EPA office that oversees Portland, okay?
Okay.
All right, hold on just one moment. Let's see here. That's going to be Northwest Coast, so.
Well, it's not so much dealing with Portland. Portland is just many states that are going through. There are other states in Texas, where I'm from, that are going through the same thing.
I want to answer your question regarding Portland right now.
Okay? That's fine.
Yeah. They have to answer it because it falls in their region. But I want to give you the EPA office so I can answer that question for you, okay? Let's see here.
I guess my argument is this. Who is going to record the frequency penetrating our homes with this technology? Who will do that?
In which area, sir?
What's that?
Okay, let me answer your question.
Okay.
We'll move to your next question. Okay, yeah.
Sounds good.
Portland, Oregon, this is EPA Region 10 office.
Okay.
They're in Seattle, but they oversee the state of Oregon, which is Portland. Okay? Now,
Okay.
the phone number is 206
Okay.
553-1200. Again, 206-553-1200. And they also have an 800 number. The 800 number is 800
Okay.
424-4372. Again, 800-424-4372. This is EPA Region 10 office in Seattle that oversees the state of Oregon. They can answer that. They have to answer the question. Now, what is your next question?
Okay. Now back to the state of Oregon.
Yes, sir.
Back in 1975, there was a strange phenomenon reported in Eugene, Oregon.
Yes, sir.
Some kind of signal that was detected attacking, alarming the people and the citizens of Eugene, Oregon. But the FCC was called to investigate that, but then they were turned down from not doing that. And I want to know why that was so, and if the EPA investigated that. I mean, you can look it up. You can look it up on Google. The Eugene signal. You can look it up, and you can see where they've been reporting this as early as 1970. But did the EPA?
That's going to be EPA Region 10. They have to answer that question. We can't. They have to answer it.
Yeah,
okay?
but the headlines read that the FCC was turned away from investigating that. So who did the investigation on that?
EPA has to answer that question for you. Okay.
Okay.
In Region 10.
Okay.
That's why our regions are split up, because they are in different areas. Headquarters is headquarters. If you call Washington, D.C., they're going to dispense you either to our region, the state that oversees it. So you want to call, and right now, they're 2 hours behind us. So that's going to fall under Region 10, that question. Okay, so you got two questions here. The Morrison versus Portland School District and your latter question. George Brzezowski will answer your question regarding CHD versus FCC and any subject matter related to radiation. Okay?
Now, my last question to you. You say that you answer phone calls for the EPA about complaints, right?
for the states of New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Now you're in Texas.
Okay.
Is the incident complaint in any of those states in Texas?
Yes, in Texas.
Okay, all right. And so what is the question, George?
My questions to you, since you answer phones and answer complaints, how many complaints are you aware of Americans reporting that they're being victimized with microwave energy weapons, direct energy weapons, neurological weapons?
What kind of weapon? Wait a minute. What kind of weapons?
Microwave energy weapons.
Microwave.
Direct energy weapons.
Microwave what again?
Microwave energy weapons.
Energy?
Yeah, microwave energy weapons.
Weapons?
Yes, microwave energy weapons. Direct
Okay.
direct energy weapons.
Is it related to
Havana syndrome.
Related to, how do you spell Havana syndrome?
Havana syndrome is spelled Havana, Havana.
Like the city, Havana, Havana.
Yes. And then syndrome.
Syndrome? Okay.
AKA anomalous health incidents.
Okay, microwave energy weapons related to Havana syndrome. What is the rest of it?
AKA. AKA.
HAA.
No, AKA.
Oh, AKA. Got it.
Anomalous.
Okay, now is that HKA anonymous? Got it.
Health incident.
Health incident.
How many phone calls have you received from Texas in regards to this issue, ma'am?
We record all our calls, but I haven't received any. Now, let me look this information up because we're responsible to record all calls. I'm the only one to answer the calls. This one is a new one.
Yes,
okay?
but you haven't received any phone calls in regards to that topic at all?
No.
Electronic.
Let me look it up.
Electronic harassment.
George.
Okay.
George.
Okay. Let
me look it up.
Okay.
And I want to see where it falls. Okay. Maybe those phone calls fall under a different area, but let me look it up. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to Google it. Right. Let's see here. Okay, microwave. Energy weapons related to Havana syndrome. Let's see. Okay, here are the results. Microwave energy weapons related to Havana syndrome. Okay, let's read up on this, see what's happening here. Microwaves are one of the leading theories of the cause of Havana syndrome, a mysterious illness that has affected over 150 U.S. personnel serving abroad since 2016. However, there's no hard evidence to support this theory, and the cause of Havana syndrome remains unknown. Let's see what else we're talking about. Let's see, evidence. A 2020 report by the National Academies of Sciences concluded that pulse microwaves were the most likely cause of some cases. However, the State Department considered this conclusion to be plausible hypothesis only. Okay, now, here's something from the CIA. The lack of evidence. The CIA has been unable to collect hard evidence that microwaves cause the illness. An intelligent assessment found no evidence that a foreign adversary used a direct energy weapon. Let's see, other possibilities. Some say that the symptoms of Havana syndrome could be caused by a single unknown cause or by multiple health problems combined. Others say that the most likely cause is exposure to ultrasonic stimulation. Microwave weapons. Let's see what that says. Microwave weapons are known to be large, requiring a good power outlet or a facility to operate. It can be mounted, Let's see. Okay. Here's something from The Guardian. It's a reporting agency. Microwave weapons that cause Havana syndrome. That goes back to the National Academy of Science. Let's see. What weapon was used in the Havana syndrome? What was a radiation weapon in Cuba? What is the direct energy weapon in Havana syndrome? What is a U.S. military microwave? Okay. Now this doesn't fall under EPA. No, sir, it doesn't.
Well, let me give you one source, one good source that I have. Okay.
Okay. Who was involved in the investigation?
Hold on, ma'am. Let me inject my complaint, my response to that. Okay. I have a library of evidence, documents, whistleblowers, federal court cases, affidavits, videos, books of Americans and federal employees who are experts on this topic. Now, what I want to give you is a major whistleblower who is all over the website, all over YouTube, giving hypothesis to this microwave energy weapons and the frequency and the amount of poison and toxins that are exposing each home and businesses. Are you ready for that information?
Okay. Before you do that, okay, the CIA has been unable to collect hard evidence. Actually, you need to present that to the CIA.
Ma'am,
okay, now I can look
up. Ma'am, let me give you a piece of information right now, okay? I write a newspaper, okay? And in the newspaper today, it says here, CIA whistleblower reveals Biden administration covered up attacks on officers injured by direct energy weapons. This is written by the Gateway Pundit by Anthony Scott. Okay,
it does not fall under the jurisdiction of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay.
Now, if you like, I can provide you with contact to, like you said, you have a lot of data on this, okay? And the CIA, the White House, and so the CIA has, from what I'm reading, the CIA has been unable to collect hard evidence. They're involved in it. Now,
ma'am, I want to give you one. Ma'am, can I close? Can I close on this, please? Can I close?
George.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but George, I was finishing up. Okay. Now, going forward, I can put you in touch. Look up the CIA under Washington, D.C., if you like.
Ma'am,
would you like
ma'am, I don't want anything to do with the CIA, ma'am. I've already concluded what's going on. I would like to give you the evidence because, like I said, ma'am, we are being toxined with technology, radio frequency, electronic harassment. And if the media can record that in someone's home, who is going to record that so that we can make a legitimate police report and complaint, ma'am? That's the whole problem.
Okay.
That's the whole problem. It's like you know, if you go work for the government, if I go work for an Air Force base, wait a minute. If I go work for a military installation, okay, civil service, and I'm being attacked with these weapons, someone has to record that. If the media can record that, why can't the EPA? Why can't the FCC record that? We're being toxified. We're being toxic, exposed to toxic exposure of microwave radiation, radio frequency, and technology, ma'am. And someone has to regulate that. I mean, you can allow the electrifying or the microwave abuse that's attacking our organs or children in schools. I mean, their brains are just developing, ma'am. To be barbecued with microwave frequency on a daily basis leads back to the Moscow signal, where Walter J. Stossel was radio wave consistently that caused blood dyscrasia. And so we have to record that to make a legitimate complaint in the courtroom, which we don't have now. But the media does agree that if you get a spectrum analyzer and you're in a quiet room, you can record that. However, the CIA whistleblower, Dr. Robert Duncan, explains on the web that he is the one who made the weapon itself. Who knows that this weapon's being used against Americans? So why is a CIA operative allowed to write books such as Taming a Demon, Project Soul Catcher, using this advanced technology against Americans? Why is that allowed?
I'm listening.
So those are my questions. You have a guy who made the weapon, who knows it's being deployed against Americans, but why don't we have countermeasures to record this, ma'am? It's like being in an auto accident. You hit somebody's vehicle. Now you call in the law enforcement to make a report. The evidence is exposed. You have expert witnesses that testify in court cases, how fast the car was traveling, the speed the car was traveling, the impact. All this ratio is put into a computer to be analyzed. But we don't have that right now, and this silent war has been going on for 60 years, ma'am. The Moscow Signal, Ronald Reagan Star Wars, Bill Clinton's non-consensual human experimentation radiation speech. Then you had Congressman Kucinich, H.R. 2977 Space Preservation Act. Then you had President Barack Obama's Bioethics Commission, who all identified that Americans are being abused with this technology. So it's a consistency of neglect for 60 years, and all the federal government has done is paid whistleblowers millions of dollars, ma'am. They have done nothing to investigate the true crimes of what is happening to the American people and our children institutions. When is that going to happen, ma'am?
Are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, do you know what the definition of electromagnetic is?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now, okay.
It'll stop your vehicle in its tracks.
I'm going to refer what you're talking about to George Brzezowski.
Okay.
It falls under the title of electromagnetic radiation, or RAD, R-A-D.
Okay.
George Brzezowski has a background in that, okay?
Okay.
Okay, is that fair enough?
Okay.
Okay, and so, yeah, I know we're talking, and I'm listening to you effectively, and so what you're talking about falls under the title electromagnetic radiation, or RAD. This is George Brzezowski's expertise, okay? All right, so we'll be able to talk to George about the electromagnetic, or as you put it, microwave energy weapons related to the Havana syndrome. Now, the last thing what I can do is check to see if the CDC, Center for Disease Control, if they have anything related to microwave energy weapons, the Havana syndrome.
No, they deny that at this time. I submitted a FOIA, they denied that.
Okay, I'm just really trying to help you, George.
I know you are, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I'm just angry at this because, you know, here I am. Wait a minute. Here I am as a disabled veteran walking to the VA to claim I'm being attacked with these special weapons, and they call me schizophrenic. But I have this library. I have 10,000 pages of documents and news articles and whistleblowers that this is happening today. And the FBI, the headline reads, FBI is lowering up against Havana syndrome.
Now, I don't want you to give up. And like I said, George has been with the agency for a long time.
Okay.
And so he may be able to guide you to other places or provide information.
Okay.
And so I truthfully want you to reach out to him. He's better positioned with his expertise, and he'll know immediately. He responds very quickly, okay?
Okay.
And so, now, if you do have further questions that you may not have discussed, I want to leave you a different number to reach us here at the EPA. Okay, it's a better number.
Okay.
Because a 1-800 number, it gets, oh my gosh, we don't even want to know. Okay, George?
Yes, ma'am.
So, now again, my first name is Beverly, Beverly, and my last name is Murray, Murray. Now, I'm going to leave you my direct phone number because it doesn't get busy, okay?
Okay.
And you might have additional questions or concerns, and my direct phone number is 214-665 2186. Again, 214-665 2186. Okay?
Okay.
And so,
now,
George works in our, yes, sir?
Okay, go ahead. You said George what?
He works in our air and radiation division. That's the division he works in, okay? And so, he's very capable, and he definitely has a lot of background. But as you are starting to research or either put things in place, you may have other questions, and it's easier if you reach out to me by my direct phone number.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about this topic is that history is repeating itself, because this is just just deja vu. Now, if you look at the Moscow Signal campaign that existed back in the 70s, the Secret Service did measure the amount of radiation using the TUMS measurement. But what instrument did they use to clarify that Richard Nixon was being irradiated microwave? What instruments? And does the EPA have those instruments too?
And you served in the military, right?
Yeah, I'm a veteran, man. Okay. But like I said, I don't stop because you cannot give me free money and then put me back in your program and begin to torture me. No, it's not that way. That's why we have congressmen and senators, and we have federal courtrooms to correct this, man. But the sad thing is that you have CIA people that are coming out and they're being targeted now here in the United States.
I understand.
Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, a congressman being victimized. You know, there's a lot of people, movie stars. You have Randy Quaid, him and his wife, Roseanne Barr. You know, those are people that are being targeted, and they're aware of that. But not only that, ma'am, there are coalitions such as TargetedJustice.com that are in federal court right now against the FBI, the Department of Justice. They want answers, ma'am, because this technology is in the hands of criminals. And these criminals are trained to use this technology, but they don't care if they walk into your neighborhood, if they're attacking a cop or a lawyer or a nurse or a judge. They don't care. All they know, this is fun. They can observe you and they can pull up to your house and attack you. Okay, so that concerns me, man.
You have concerns, and you're not giving up.
Well, I'm not giving up. It's just that, look, if you're going to pay me as a government agency to call me disabled, I'm going to advocate this as much as I can. I'm going to create an institution and institutionalize people that are victimized.
I understand.
I'm going to educate people. Okay, that's how I'm treating this. Okay, and that's exactly what I've done, ma'am. I have created a national library for targeted individuals on an Apple iCloud, and you can visualize it. I can show you the documents. You can look at from A through Z, from numbers 1 through 1,000, and it will be there for you. I can prove that.
George is supporting you. He's going to be very interested in those type documentations because of his expertise. I can tell you that. Okay. And so, but I do hear you as a constituent, and we import. I can't remember, because we just in November we always have an annual recognition of our military guys, but I can't remember if George served in the military. He could possibly have. Okay. And so now we get off early today, and so the day before the holiday. We get off 2 hours early. Now, I don't want you to, like I said, you do have George's email, but you're not giving up, okay?
Well,
and
like I said, all I can do is relay this to the people who are in charge. Relay this to the congressman, relay this to the senator, relay this to the coalitions that are out there that are in court right now. That's all I can do, ma'am. Because I've already been to the U.S. Supreme Court. You can look at my court case, Benavides versus William Barr. I was denied due process of the law. You know, I had the evidence right there. If you read that court case, there's a lot of evidence in that court case. But they feared me because I came after them. I blew the whistle. And they called me schizophrenic and compensating me 100% when now it's all showing up now. You know, I'm like, how do you do that to a veteran who had went to school for pharmacy and medicine and x-ray, and you want to go ahead and slap me and call me delusional, put me on welfare? That's not fair.
I know what you're saying, George.
It's not fair, ma'am. It's not.
I know what you're stating, and the reason why you're stating this is due to the facts. And I can't talk about politics too much, which I won't. But then it just seems as if that people don't care about air, land, water. All they care about is lining their pockets, and you can't take it to the cemetery with you, that's for sure.
Well, I'm not going to take it to the cemetery, but at least I can do. The least I can do at the expense of the taxpayer is to educate the people. We the people, because we the people are the ones that have the right to the Declaration of Independence. When the government has become so corrupt, it is up to the people to realign that. And how do you realign that? You realign that by voting. And that's what happened with President Trump.
Yes, sir.
People got tired of being blacklisted and shutting down by Twitter. And so they voted for a man who would take the lead. And President Trump is that guy. He is that targeted individual. And if you look up targeted individual on the website, you're going to come up with a lot of resources, ma'am. This is not I don't call it a conspiracy. It's the facts. And the facts is that these weapons have been around as early as 1950, created by U.S. patents. And I have those patents, if you'd like to look at them.
No, I want you to talk to George, because he has that type of expertise and exposure, and how microwave energy weapons, how they cause human health, and so, and then you have my number, okay?
Okay.
So,
well, I'll
get passion.
Well,
you have a passion, George. I want to leave you with this now.
Okay.
You have a passion for what's right, okay? And you're not going to rest. That's your spirit telling you to get up, move forward, okay? Sit down, get up, and keep going.
Well, I mean, it's in the Bible. No weapon.
When my constituents call me, I don't care how much time it takes. I listen to my constituents. I don't work for a private company. I work for my constituents. And that's you and the rest of anybody that calls this phone number here at this region. And so I love my constituents. That's who I work for. You're the ones that write my paycheck. And I never forget that, okay? And so you do have my number, and you may have some other questions. And I welcome you to call. I'll do anything I can to help assist you or guide you to someone that can help, or some expertise, okay? Because mine is a little minimum. But I'm a good listener, though, okay?
Listen, I do want to thank you very much for serving our country.
Of course.
And for your service with the EPA. And I want to thank you very much for listening to my argument, which you didn't have to. But I think it's very professional. I think it's very professional that we have people that want to listen and look at the evidence and look at the facts. This is really happening in our country.
Always.
Okay?
Always.
People like you should always be around. People like you should always be around. But we don't have that within our government anymore. They just don't care. You know? They don't care. I've talked to a lot of agencies, and a lot of them like, oh, whatever. Take the medicine. Take the red pill. Go away, son. You know?
Or even get you off the phone, or don't call you back.
Right. All right.
Trust me,
Listen.
I hear that from my constituents out there. I do.
Yes. Listen, I appreciate your time and effort. I will get back with George, and I will relay this information back to other people who are up higher than I am, okay?
And again, you're always welcome to call, okay? You won't get anybody when you call but me. I might be a little slow catching up, but I am going to reach my constituents, okay?
Well, I mean, it's good that you open up and hear that, because we're just trying to give you evidence. You know, that's all we're trying to do is help you guys out, because then it creates a voluminous library for yourself too. You know,
taxpayers. I think people forget on the local basis, the city, county, states, and the federal. I don't know about other organizations, but it's you that signs our paycheck. It's our taxpayers that signs our paychecks. And you are my boss, okay? And I want you to know that. I'm not just saying something to make you get off the phone or anything. I'm not doing that. But you call, and I am going to respond to you because you're my boss.
Well,
okay?
I'm pretty sure the taxpayers would like to hear that, ma'am. I really appreciate your time and effort.
Well,
I really do.
I try real hard. I do. I really try hard, okay?
Okay. Well, ma'am, listen. I'm going to close out and conclude. Like I said, I will follow up with Mr. Brzezinski. And hopefully we can get some solutions. I just want someone to record what's going through my house, you know?
Exactly. And then the other side of this, you don't have to call that 1-800 number. You call my direct number, and I'll get back with you much quicker, okay? I promise you.
I thank you very much, and I hope you have a happy New Year.
You too. Many blessings to you now and your family, and going forward, okay?
Thank you.
And so, we're not going to be, I'll leave this in closing with you, George.
Okay.
We're not going to be like Lot's wife. Remember, the angels told her, don't turn around, and you know what happened? She turned the stone. So, we're going to strive for excellence, okay? That's what we're going to do.
Well, it's not that, ma'am. It's just now what you've taken is this weapon that's invisible and driving the taxpayer away from their jobs or families. You know, it's just.
I heard a little bit about. I'm a big fan of PBS and the Havana syndrome, where a lot of military people were being exposed overseas, and supposedly they didn't know where it came from, and I think a little bit of that. It was called the Havana syndrome. Wasn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I watched a documentary on that. I don't know everything, but people were being exposed, and they never recuperated from it, kind of thing. And supposedly the federal government was involved and things of that nature. But like you mentioned, a lot of data on that. And so I do remember seeing this documentary on PBS about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll have to look that up then. I'll have to look it up.
Yes, sir.
But my whole reason why I call the EPA is because the EPA does what, man? What is your jurisdiction in the United States, ma'am?
The region, or what do we do?
What is the EPA's jurisdiction of the United States? What do you guys investigate?
Okay. Of course, we're responsible, especially I'll talk about our region here, because out of the 10 regions, our region here is number one. And the reason being is because we deal with all kinds of catastrophes, hurricanes, and oil refinery emissions, and that affect a multitude of people, whether it's air, land, or water. I'll give you a good example. During the pandemic, the White House, they tagged us to oversee disinfectants. They had to reach out to us. For example, when we have had Hurricane Katrina, oil refineries down in our region, we have in our region, we have an airplane that flies through the plum, smoke, and it takes data during floodwaters. We have the special mobile unit that drives through floodwaters and takes samples. So when it affects, and what you're saying, it affects a multitude of people, that's when we get involved. Yes, sir.
When it affects the when it affects the multitude of people is when you get involved. And what do you mean?
Sir.
Can you define multitude of people? Can you define that for me?
Pretty much what you're saying. The data that you have is not just me complaining. This is happening all over the country.
Okay.
Some of the incidents with, I just brought up my little notes, sorry. Like from the lawsuit with CHD versus FCC.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That affects a multitude of people. It does. But we just so happen to have someone here at the EPA in our region. Now, when it gets up to headquarters is going to put everything out there in narrative, everything. And so let's just say you contacted headquarters. They're going to bounce you off to our region. Right. So to answer that question more effectively, we get involved when human health is at stake, whether it's a violation or exposure from air, land, or water. And it affects human health. And what you're saying affects human health, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, like I said earlier, George may have much more narrative on this particular topic that you have, that you're seeking guidance, and than I would, because he's the expert. Yes.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, Fox News, they were looking at a personnel who was victimized by the technology. They sat in this quiet office and got a spectrum analyzer, and they were able to actually hear the frequency, electronic harassment, okay, the waves of frequency that's attacking the body. Now, the chart that says your brain functions, normal brain functions at 10 hertz. Okay, your sleeping delta sleep pattern, I think, is at 1 point something hertz. Okay, with no noises. I mean, these weapons are penetrating up to being 500 hertz to 1,000 hertz, which causes brain dysfunction and heart attacks. It causes all kinds of things. Okay?
I know I read that documentary through PBS, the Havana syndrome.
Yes, ma'am.
And these were high-ranking government officials.
Yep.
Coming through. A lot of it occurred in Havana, Cuba. It did.
Well,
the families.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The families were concerned. They reached out to the federal government. Let me see if I can find this on PBS. It was very interesting. Very, very. Let's see. And to save their loved one's life, they had to get the federal government involved to get the people out of that area. And some of the people have never recuperated from the exposure.
Here's a person I talked to. Her name is Karen Stewart, Milton Stewart. She's she's all over the YouTube. Karen Stewart is an NSA whistleblower, and she was discriminated against. Okay, they didn't pay her for being tortured with this technology. Now, what happened? What happened later on? Well, last year the Department of State settled a court case with Mr. Mark Lindsay and his family, because not only Mr. Mark Lindsay was tortured, so was his immediate family. And the government settled. The government did admit that this was happening, and they only settled with him and his family for $300,000, ma'am. That's what the headline reads. Mark Lindsay settles for $300,000 for being targeted for his whole entire career with the Department of State. So it's just not. It's the system's not working appropriately the way it should be. But Karen Stewart.
I think I found this article.
Diplomatic, law enforcement, and intelligence personnel have suffered grievous, often life-altering injuries in the line of duty. No guns or bombs or rockets were involved. They were attacked by sound. That's debilitating waves of sound and pressure that have left them with traumatic brain injuries.
Yeah, this is it.
Other physical ailments grouped under the
Okay, let me see. Let me get the website. It was on PBS this year.
Okay.
April 2024. Let's see. Havana Syndrome Investigator. Let's see if I can get the link for you, okay? So if you Google pbs.org, Havana Syndrome, or you can just Google Havana Syndrome and you'll see the PBS article on it. Yeah, it caused brain damage. Now, I'll give you another case. You may have heard about the lead being in water up north, and lead was coming through drinking water, and so EPA employee he became a whistleblower, and what they did, they were getting the water out of one of the lakes up there in Michigan, and the water department decided not to put a chemical in the water so that the lead, the purpose of putting the chemical in the water was to prevent the lead from coming off the pipes. And so they kept hammering at the investigation, the citizens, and one of our EPA employees was a whistleblower, and they found out that the city water department refused to use the chemical, and lead was a high concentration of lead. So I know what you mean, how people, like, how do you turn your back? How do you do that?
Right.
We kind of know, George.
See, what I'm kind of confused about, though, ma'am, is that if you look up the Department of Homeland Security's, is titled Department of Homeland Security Silent Weapons Examination Committee. If you look at that, and hear the testimony of the whistleblowers, these guys know, he says, I know where the body bags are at. I know what file cabinets to look in and what subpoenas to issue. Okay, so you know that they're using these weapons that are silent against Americans. Why don't you expose that? You're getting paid millions of dollars to blow the whistle, but you're not telling us who the bodies are, or what office are these file cameras located. I mean, so it's kind of like ripping off the people. I guess that's up to someone else that's got more of a law degree to ask for that information.
We do have a whistleblower protection plan in place where EPA and legal, they protect information that's coming from our citizens, and George is aware of that. So I think once you start to reach out to one of our experts, and we're out of the 10 regional offices, we're number 1.
Wow.
And it's not just me. We have like a little under 700 employees, and I can tell you that all of us are the same. We don't treat our constituents. We're number 1 for a reason, and we stinking know we are.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I was, and I'll give you an example. I mean, they did not want me involved in the Kelly Air Force Base contamination. Remember that? Back in
which contamination?
Kelly Air Force contamination in San Antonio. Remember that plum that was sitting at that Kelly Airfield that caused cancer to those people, residents?
You know what? Yeah. Matter of fact, I had a call last week concerning that. It's a Kelly Air Force Base down there in San Antonio.
Yes,
right?
they came knocking on my door because they came knocking on my door because I live in the area. Once they found out, I was a veteran and lived there all my life, they said, "Well, we can't use you anymore." You see, they didn't want me. They didn't want me a part of that. They didn't want me a part of that board because I was an official city member. I lived there all my life. You know,
Yeah,
so I know that you guys are. I know that you guys are aware, but still, we're lacking
Yeah.
the tools to measure these frequencies that are penetrating people's homes. That's what my concern is, you know.
I see.
But yeah,
Let's
okay.
keep our fingers crossed that George is going to lead the way for you. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it's been documented that they're using countermeasures by the Secret Service
Yes,
to record the attacks on Richard Nixon when he was in the White House. So I'm sure that they have more sophisticated measures that they can countermeasure that stuff too as well.
Well, you remember the Agent Orange syndrome in the Gulf over there.
Oh yeah.
And then look how long it's taken for our veterans to get help.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Just here in the last couple of years where they want to even consider them being disabled. And so
but see, what I don't understand, the VA knew about this. I mean, if you look at the American Psychological Journal of 1975, look at that article. It says Microwaves and Behavior by the Department of Veterans Affairs Administration. They have an article that was published back in 1975 by Ron R. Justinson. And it clarifies that the VA knew.
Yeah, I'm old enough. The Vietnam War. I mean, it just got out of hand.
It did.
You know, you're just sending live human beings over there to get killed. And as a matter of fact, I was in an honors class in the 9th grade, and so our topic was, there was a lot of really straight A kids, and they're better than me. But anyways, they gave us this topic: should the United States remove military aid from South Vietnam? It was hard.
Wow.
I felt lucky to get C out of the class.
Jeez.
But then there are things that are not right. But then we have people that stand up for what is right. And so
the only reason why I stood up, ma'am, like I said, the VA wrongfully diagnosed me, okay, which pisses me off because I went to the federal courts prior to that. Not only did I go to federal courts, I went to 2 congressmen prior to that, and they all said, no, you know, go see the VA. You're delusional. I'm like, what? I said, I got volumes of information. This was leading back to 1950. Richard Nixon was microwaved, you know.
George, I'm gonna leave you with this story from the Bible. Remember the story of the rich man? And there used to be a little beggar man in front of the palace and hold his hand out for coins. Okay, so the rich man, he went downstairs, okay? And so he looks up, and it's a story about, it's so hot down there, could he just have a couple of drinks of water? So he's down in Hades, okay? And then he looks up, and he sees Abraham and the little beggar man. And so he tells him, he says, can you please just give me a drop or 2 of water? And it's in the Bible. And Abraham, he says, finest English, okay? He says, we can't come over there where you are. And so he said, well, okay. He said, but please tell people, he said, this is not a place that you want to be. And so time takes care of everything. It does. Okay. Well, I'm a little bit past my time, and so at least I know that you may be calling me back, okay?
Okay.
And now, have you had lunch today?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had lunch today, but I wanted
so
to.
You have some energy.
Yeah, I do. I got to cope with this stuff, so I got to eat.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but anyway, I want to thank you very much for answering your phone and taking your time out to explain and to hear and listen and direct me in the right direction. And like I said, I want to thank you for your service to the government, to its people of America. And we need more people like you that don't answer the calls and listen to the cry of American people. It's very rare.
Well, you're working.
It's very rare, but I really want to thank you very much.
My pleasure. Anytime, okay?
Okay, all right. Then you have a happy new year, and may God bless you.
You too.
Thank you.
Many blessings now and going forward to 2025. So let me hear from you, okay?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye-bye.